Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on an Emirates 777. I'm just talking watches and drinking coffee. Talking watches and drinking coffee. In business class on Emirates. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury on the Paul Pluta channel doing paid reviews. This is paid review 9SE7. Wristwatch check, Patek Philippe 5127. This is the Calatrava. And we're doing a paid review for Simon. Hi Archie, I've sent you 140 Aussie dollars via PayPal because we enjoy your content and want you on the air. On the air. My name is Simon and I'm a 50-year-old watch collector living in Los Angeles. I was not always a watch collector. In fact, I detest high-end Swiss watches, particularly the one sitting proudly at the top of the hierarchy, Patek. When I was in my mid-20s, one fine day, whilst my ambiguous black Casio watch, I came to the magazine stand of my local supermarket and stumbled upon a magazine called Watch Time that highlighted fine Swiss watches. I sneered as I flipped through the pages of the ostentatious display of wealth and reassured myself that my $25 Casio is so much better, more accurate, more robust, and why would anyone pay so much money for them? But over the years of investigating why they were held in such high regard, I finally saw the light. Special interest pieces have at one time or another passed through my small 6.5-inch wrist, a yellow gold Audemars Piguet Tourbillon 1, an Omega calendar Cosmic Vintage, a Rolex Platinum Day Date 36mm with Glacier Blue dial, a Rolex White Gold Day Date circa 1970s, a yellow gold Vacheron 6378Q, an IWC Da Vinci Tourbillon chronograph Perpetual, and a Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Tourbillon. For some reason or another, I was never really satisfied and was restless to find my exit watch. Alas, they have all left me, and now I have a collection of only one watch, and I couldn't be happier. I have a Patek 5396G, and my journey has come to an end. 5396 is an annual calendar, probably, in my opinion, one of the best annual calendars. It's beautiful, beautiful. And the G, I quite love. I've noticed several modern complicated Pateks start to use the Calatrava style case with the flat bezel, including 5396, 5496, 5235, 5170, 5230, 6102. This in comparison to some older and contemporary references that have steeped rounded or concave bezels which pare down the visual mass of the timepiece. I could not find any commentary on YouTube that discusses the look and style of Patek cases. What are your personal thoughts on the modern complicated Pateks that use simple Calatrava style cases with the flat bezel versus Pateks that use steeped, rounded or convex bezels? Do you think they look pretty? Do you think Patek's use of the Calatrava style case will become a trend on their complication or grand complication pieces going forward? Thanks in advance, Simon. Okay, thank you very much indeed, Simon. And wristwatch check, I'm wearing a Patek 5127 as I'm making this vid. So there we go. Simon's obviously had money to buy a lot of these fucking things. Jesus Christ. I got to tell you, the 5396G, I think that is one of the all-time beautiful watches. I can't fault that. I cannot fault that at all. Interesting that you've come to a that's your exit watch. I can understand it completely. Yes, I've done the Patek thing a few times. I gotta be honest and say that I think if you've got one Patek like you have, which I must say is a great Patek, I would always have a steel Rolex. I think you've got to have, I've got the Explorer 2 steel. I think every man, you've got to have a Rolex and your Patek. I don't think The Patek by itself, even though it's very, very cool, and I love that reference, I think you still do need a steel Rolex for getting shit done. Okay, but anyhow, let's not. Your question was, Patek has used this Calatrava. You're right there. Patek Philippe has really gone into that Calatrava case, and I think the realistic thing is that the Calatrava case, the round case, well, that's there. They call it. They may not call it a Calatrava, but it's their iconic. I think that's very much one of their signature hallmarks, is that type of case. I mean, Patek has also done the television type tonneau cases. They've done, you know, the gondola series, and Patek was really far advanced when they had the ellipse, which I must say has dated pretty fucking badly. But I gotta be 100% honest with you. I think the thing with the cases is, I think the Calatrava case works so well. I mean, you could say the same thing to Rolex. Why are they? That Rolex Oyster, they call it the Rolex Oyster. Well, that's really a circular type of case. It just works so well for whist watches. That's not to say rectangular or square watches don't work, i.e. Cartier, Tank, Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso. They work as well, but I think the circular form is so iconic. And it's a very interesting question. I mean, that's something I've never been asked before. You're saying we're talking about the flat bezel compared to the steep, rounded, or convex bezels, and that's actually a really interesting thing. So I've got a few Pateks, just so happens to have a few Pateks with me today. So firstly, let's look at this here. This is a Patek 5296. This is a automatic Calatrava, very much flat, small bezel there. This is a 38 mil, and I must tell you, it wears big. It wears big. And I gotta say to you, in all honesty, I quite like it's got a flat bezel. I really became a bezel man. I mean, some men are breast men, some men are ass men. I'm a bezel man, okay? And I gotta tell you, with my other Patek, my other Calatrava, the 5127, it's got the curved bezel. So it gives it these watches, when you look at them on a 2D, just flat thing, you'd think they're very, very similar, but no. Smooth bezel on the 5296, on the 5127, very curved. So does that impact the watch? Yes, I think it changes the whole presentation, the whole form and function of the watch. It does. It gives it a very different feeling. I must say, I think the flat, smooth bezel makes the watch bigger. Okay, it really does do that. Very interesting fact is that I've got one of the early annual calendars. So you got the 5396, I've got the 5035, which is a 37 mil watch. The bezel doesn't go out, it's introvert, so it's scooped out like that. And what effect does it have? It actually makes the watch feel smaller. They were trying to make it the same size as a 3940. So there are trickery they can do with bezels to make the watch feel fatter or smaller. It's a bit like a fat man wearing a pinstripe suit. The pinstripe give the illusion of being a bit thinner. I've used these tricks myself, not that I could really pull them off, to be honest with you. So in all honesty there, it's a very, very interesting question. The look and style of Patek cases, I must say, it's very interesting you say this. This is fucking such an interesting email you've sent, question, paid review you've sent in there. And I got to tell you.
Oh. Hey Archie Luxury fans, if you're into luxury, then you got to be into 66 Buick Rivieras. Check out my son and I, Alex, as we restore this beautiful 66 Buick.
Neighbors are having a picnic, you know, having fun and stuff. Me, I'm doing cars. It's what I've done my whole life.
So I've got to be completely honest with you. I think this is I've decided with my humble Patek Philippe collection, all of my watches are going to be circular. The interesting thing is, Patek Philippe, they call the standard circular, the non-complicated ones, they just call it Calatrava. But as soon as you get into a complicated Patek Philippe, they actually don't call it Calatrava anymore. Like, if you look at the world time, they don't call it a Calatrava world time. It's just known as the world time. That's all it is. And it's very much a circular. It's actually very, very similar case to my 5127. So it's got that round, and it's also the bezel is coming outwards. Unfortunately, I don't have my annual calendar here because I'd love to show you it, but it actually curves in, and it really brings the mass of the whole watch down. It really does. That's what it does. It brings the whole mass of this watch, it shrinks it in. Very clever how it's done. I got to tell you, you wouldn't think about this, because when you see them like in a catalog or a magazine, they're very 2D, so you don't really get the depth of whether it's introverted or extra. You don't really get that depth, but it makes a huge difference. I've got to be totally honest with you. I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm not a fucking skinny little runt. I'm a fucking fat, tall guy, 185 centimeters. And I got to tell you, I really love my 5127 more than my 5296. This feels like a monster. The 5296, it's only 1 mil bigger. Couple little tricks they've done here. They've made the strap 21 mil. On this one, it's 20 mil. The flat bezel. Here we got the rounded bezel. So a little couple of those tweaking makes the watch feel very, 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 very different. Also, the length. Now, both of these are the same length. That's the lug to lug measurement. So I've got to be totally honest with you when I say that Patek Philippe, I've decided only to collect circular Calatrava style case Patek references. Is that wrong or stupid? Well, possibly. I kind of like the Calatrava. I think it's, to me, the thing is, the Stern family, that's the present owners of Patek Philippe, they introduced the original Calatrava once they had bought the business in the early 1930s. They released the Calatrava 96. So I kind of like that cue to history. That's my opinion there on it. The other thing is, which I think is really, really important to note there, is that I really think that the Calatrava style case, Calatrava style case, I think is just so beautiful, and I love the circular reference. I think it just works. It just works. And you're asking the question. I must say, you're one of the few people who's ever said to me the differences between the flat bezel and the more curved or introverted bezels. It's very, I must say, one of my favorite references of Patek. I'll put a link to it. Actually, I'll tell you who did a good story was Theo and Harris did a story on the 3940. I'll put a link to that. And he actually, as he said there, it's got an introverted bezel, which it just, I think it's fucking sexy. I think it's sexy. So let's have a look here. Now, what are your personal thoughts on modern complication Pateks that use the simple Calatrava style cases? I love it. I think that is winner chicken dinner with the flat bezel versus other Pateks that use the steeped, rounded and convex bezels. Very interesting. I must say that I think it depends on the period. See, this is why I love classic Patek Philippe's, like the 3940 with the convex bezel. Beautiful. I still, the 5296 I've got, this flat bezel, I think the 5396 just pops because of that flat bezel it also has. I think that's why it works. So, do you think they look pretty? Yes, I love all of them. I love all of them, but I think it's just interesting how they've evolved the Calatrava cases for different time periods. So, I'm not critical of one way or the other. I like the flat bezel, I like the curved bezel, and I like the inverted bezel. I love the variance. Do you think Patek's use of the Calatrava style case will become a trend on their... Well, they are using that case in many references. And I think it's it is a good hallmark of the brand, is that case there. I must say, I kind of feel the Calatrava case works. It works very well on a simple 2-hand, 3-hand watch. It works on an automatic with date. It works on a complication like an annual calendar and a world time. It works on a perpetual calendar. When it starts to get a little bit crazy, like we're talking sky, this celestial calendar and some it's possibly blows out a bit, but I've got to tell you, in all honesty, I think the Calatrava style Pateks are beautiful. Really beautiful. I love the references. I do love the references. I would love a 5170 or a 5070. I would really love to own that. I think my own opinion there. I mean, I also love, there's a really good reference. I love the Art Deco 5111. That's always been one that I've loved, but I think Reverso, Jaeger-LeCoultre owns that space. So, for me, I prefer the Calatrava style cases in all of my Pateks. But I gotta say, flat bezel or circular, I actually like the variances. I must say, I like the differences. To me, it's amazing that you've picked up on this, because no one in their fucking mind would even know this until you've handled a few Pateks. Smooth bezel, or curved bezel, or inverted bezel. It's funny you've sent this email in here, this question in, because I'm a huge bezel man. I love the variances in bezels. I must say, I think the 5396 with its flat bezel, the way it works, like my 5296, I don't want to get rid of it. Yes, it's big and bulky. I get it, but do I want to part with it? No. No! No, 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 no! No, 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 no. So, yeah, that's kind of the way it goes there. So, yeah, that's kind of my thinking on it. That's my thinking on it. So, guys, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. It's interesting discussion. Simon, that's a fucking good question. So there you go, guys. I'm Paul Pluta. This is the ArchieLuxury channel. The Paul Pluta channel. I'm doing paid reviews. Tell me what you guys think of that. Guys, remember, like, subscribe, tell your fuckhead friends. And also, if you haven't done a paid review, Google Ads can't keep me on YouTube. I depend on paid reviews to stay in this seat here. Paid reviews keep me full-time on the YouTubes. David SW. David SW. David SW. Who does ArchieLuxury recommend is the greatest grey market dealer in America? There's only one choice. David SW. That's right, guys. I've got to tell you the honest truth. I have for a long time been looking for the perfect answer. Who do I recommend people go to see? Who do I recommend that people can go and buy watches? And I've got to be honest with you. The greatest pre-owned dealer for Rolex, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet is David SW. David SW. David SW. DavidSW.com. That's right, guys. I have been looking for a contact who I can very nicely refer people to. I am not in the selling business. Customer service, I'm too old to sell watches. I'm too old. I like to recommend my viewers to a reliable source. In Australia, I've got some great sources. There's Sydney Watch Exchange with Cove, Ronnie at Vintage Watch Co, Shani at European Watch Gallery. And in America, who is the best source for pre-owned Rolex? For all the hot models? There's only one person I would recommend, David SW. David SW, David SW. That is the premier source for pre-owned Rolex. I gotta be completely frank and honest with you. Guys, if you are looking for a hot Rolex model, there is only one place you can go to. David SW. David SW. David SW. Let's be honest, guys. There's no point schmoozing the dealers, the ADs. They're just a waste of time. Unless you're going to buy 20 pieces, you are wasting your time. What you're better off to do is pay the market premium and go to a good pre-owned dealer. Who do I recommend? David SW. David SW. David SW. That's correct, guys. I want to tell you this now. I 100% stand behind David SW. David SW, the greatest pre-owned dealer in the entire United States of America. That's right, the greatest pre-owned dealer for Rolex, for Patek Philippe, for Audemars Piguet, David SW. He even does things like FP Journe. David SW, David SW, David SW. That's right. If you want to buy a pre-owned Rolex, a Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, there's only one good source I would recommend. David SW, David SW, David SW. I'm Paul Pluta, the method actor who plays Archibald Chesterfield III, and I'm proud to recommend David SW. See you later. Thank you for watching this channel.